You're listening to AM Rockland's News. I'm your host, Tom Osa. Thanks for joining us today. All right, well, here's a summary of the news thus far for today, Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. First of all, in West Haverstraw, police are investigating a domestic shooting that took place on Monday. Rockland County is joining Operation Greenlight to honor veterans. Clarkstown opened a new multi-sport turf field at the German Sport Complex. Finkelstein Memorial Library announces the Fuel the Future Gala. And Nanuet High School students host their third annual Career Development Fair. And there's a whole variety of other news here, but also let's talk about the weather today. Tuesday, it's going to be 58 degrees and mostly sunny. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 58 degrees, mostly sunny. And Thursday, it's going to rain, unfortunately, which is a shame because, quite frankly, I'm looking forward to the open mic night over at Casa del Sol in the evening on Thursday. So it'll be 59 degrees and raining, but hey, it can't rain all the time, so it's all good. We're also going to be doing a Black Sabbath tribute. Ozzy passed away a few months ago. It's a shame. And, we just wanted to do our part because, we're old school metalheads sometimes. That's what we're going to do. So check it out. It's going to be the Casa del Sol, the world famous Casa Open Jam, and it should be all sorts of fantastic. I emphasize that so much that I had the beginning music start again. All right, look, let's get into thanking our sponsors, Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, Easy Temp, located in Hackensack, New Jersey, Kobe Sushi in New City, New York, with a new music lounge that opened in May. It's absolutely fantastic. Jazz music on Wednesdays and Saturday evenings. You can't miss it. Our friends over at 202 Cannabis, the first cannabis drive-through dispensary. I don't know about this cannabis thing, but they are pretty damn fabulous over there. Good people, and quite frankly, family-owned business, and we support local business no matter what. Susan Bova, Coldwell Banker Realty, Lauren Molino Muller from Howard Hanaran Realty, Whole Shot Bagels on Haverstraw, New York, Route 9W, 99 Signs. A business without a sign is a sign of no business. The Workforce Development Board of Rockland County, that's rocklandworks.org. Get a job, for goodness sakes. And that's a place where you can get free training and career development so that you can be gainfully employed. Gosh darn it. And there's a whole bunch of others I want to thank: Fiesta Acapulco, FZ Perfection, and a variety of others. But let's get into the news today, and we'll come back to thanking some more of our sponsors. First of all, police are investigating a domestic shooting that left one man hospitalized with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. The incident occurred Monday on Mackey Court between two related men, and the victim was taken to Westchester Medical Center, and his condition is currently unknown. The second man was taken into custody for questioning. Neighbors described the area as very quiet and said they were shocked by the police presence. Authorities stress there is no ongoing threat to the public. The Palisades Center is in the news once again, as reported by now multiple outlets. First, by the Rockland County Biz Journal, and now by LOHUD. First of all, Black Diamond Capital Management has purchased the Palisades Center's distressed loan at a deep discount, signaling possible redevelopment or restructuring. And now, as reported by LOHUD, the new plaintiff has assumed control of the Palisades Center foreclosure case after the sale of the $415 million loan originally. So it's signaling potential next steps for the struggling mall. Remember, at one point, it was like the second largest mall in all of the United States. Think about that. Right now, the property remains under court-appointed receivership, and a referee has been tasked with outlining the parameters for a possible sale. The lawsuit follows years of financial strain, declining occupancy, and changing retail trends that continue to challenge large commercial spaces. If you think about it, the impact that local tax revenues would have, if something happens to the mall, it's going to significantly impact Clarkstown as well as the Clarkstown School District. I don't know the ins and outs of this case, I do know that there is a trend toward commercial properties being repurposed for residential housing, but the devaluation of the property could cause a significant blight in Rockland County if it continues on this trend. This is just my opinion, which I shouldn't be putting on the news. Next up, Rockland County joins Operation Greenlight to honor veterans on November 4th to 11th, illuminating county buildings in green to honor veterans and raise awareness about the challenges that they face. The Allison Paris building in New City, Building A at the Pomona Health Complex, will shine green in solidarity with residents across the nation. County Executive Ed Day said the initiative serves as a reminder that we do not take their sacrifice lightly. The Veteran Service Agency is also giving away green light bulbs on October 30th and 31st at 20 Squadron Boulevard, encouraging residents to light their homes in tribute. The Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education, holocauststudies.org, is working in partnership with Temple Emmanuel of Pascack Valley and will hold a Kristallnacht commemoration on November 9th at 5 p.m. in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey. David Harris, former CEO of the American Jewish Committee, will serve as keynote speaker, reflecting on the 1938 pogroms lessons for today. Executive Director Andrian Winograd said that the event reaffirms the community's commitment to remember, educate, and confront hatred in all of its forms. Attendance is free with RSVP via holocaustrcc@gmail.com, or you can call 845-574-4099. The Stony Point Town Board will hold its next public meeting tonight, Tuesday, October 28th at 7 p.m. at the Senior and Community Center at Patriot Hills, 19 Clubhouse Lane. Residents are encouraged to attend. They really are, and participate in discussions on upcoming town projects, community development, and public services. And I'm looking forward to this meeting because tonight I'm going to publicly declare that I'm joining SPACE, or at least I'm going to file an application. I'm sure SPACE, as a reputable organization, has an application somewhere where you could put your name, address, phone number, email address, everything like that. Because I imagine it's a public organization. I mean, they've been from here to Baghdad basically protesting on how things should be. So I figure I should join them. I want to learn from these very intellectual people. So please attend the town board meeting tonight so that we can all learn from SPACE. Clarkstown officials and community members gathered for the ribbon cutting of the new multi-purpose turf field at German Sports Complex, a facility designed for soccer, football, and lacrosse. The complex also features 2 new turf infield baseball and football fields, adaptable for players of all ages. Supervisor George Holman praised the investment as part of the town's ongoing commitment to expanding quality recreational opportunities. Local teams, including the Clarkstown Soccer Club, New City Rams, and Clarkstown lacrosse programs, joined in the opening celebration. Yeah. The Friends of the Finkelstein Memorial Library, and we are library friendly around here, ladies and gentlemen, are inviting the public to their Fuel the Future Gala on November 13th at the Rockland, featuring a dinner, open bar, and live jazz. Ooh, that sounds really cool. Organized by Maria Vanessa Cipolla, hope I'm saying that correctly, the event supports programs that expand access to literacy, technology, and community services in Spring Valley. The RSVP and sponsorship deadline is October 31st, with proceeds going toward youth development and education initiatives. I'll look that up. Nanuet High School students Melanie Formoso and Isabel Lukang, hope I'm saying that correctly, will host the 3rd annual Career Development Fair on November 14th from 1:30 to 4 p.m. in the school cafeteria. The event connects students with professionals from a wide range of industries, offering one-on-one career guidance, internship information, and educational insights. Organizers encourage local professionals to volunteer via nanuetcareerfair@gmail.com, calling the fair a chance to open doors and inspire students to envision their futures beyond high school. And finally, our new publication in Rockland County, the Rockland Post. There was an interesting article on there a few days ago. The Rockland Post is revisiting the haunting 1816 legend of Jane Naught Caniff, known as the Witch of West Nyack. And it's a really interesting story. If you go to rocklandpost.com, let me just actually go take a look at this. Hang on one moment. Brand new publication out there, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you something. And we've seen the trend over the last 5 years. There's literally like about 10 different Rockland-based publications. Rockland Post just launched, but right out of the gate, they came out with some interesting stories, and they got some stuff about who's running for office in the next week or so. So let's see, October 27th. So if you scroll down on rocklandpost.com, it's the first of the latest blogs area, October 27th. So let me tell you a little bit about it. Jane Caniff, all right, again, known as the Witch of West Nyack, she was a Scottish widow and considered a healer at that time. And she was accused of witchcraft by suspicious neighbors. It's always the neighbors that cause, hey, what are they doing? And subjected to a trial by Bible at Paul Hemis's grist mill, where her heavier weight deemed her innocent. Now, this is an interesting thing. If you understand the trials that that witches endured back in the day, and listen, I'm not passing judgments. Are they witches? Are they not witches? I don't freaking know. And but it's kind of like generally considered not a cool thing if you hurt other people. So they basically, if I'm getting this correctly, they basically put her on like a scale. And measured out her weight. In some arenas, they would basically dunk her and put them in the water. And if they stayed down and drowned, they weren't deemed a witch. If they came up, like their weight didn't push down far enough into the water and didn't drown, they were a witch. So it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like if you're a witch, you don't drown. If you aren't a witch, you do drown. Yeah, you're saved, but you're dead. The logic of our predecessors sometimes eludes me. And I really don't understand how people came to this conclusion. I consider it kind of like basically a distortion of reading what you're reading in the Bible, but I don't know. Who am I to judge, right? But the postscript of this story is that apparently Jane actually lived. She lived through this. She was acquitted, but she remained an outcast. So even after the acquittal, let's just say the news of the time basically made her into an outcast, or the social media of the time without the electronics. Whispering campaigns. Oh, this person's bad. And the sad thing about it is that she might have just been a Scottish widow and a healer. So her tale endures as New York's final recorded witch trial, and locals still whisper of strange happenings near Germans Road and the old Clarkstown Reformed Church, keeping the legend alive each Halloween season. All right, that was my best attempt at sounding scary. I don't know how that went, but so that's the last story that we have today for Rockland's News. We do have some events coming up. First of all, as I mentioned several times, the Rockland Music Fest app is live on streaming TV. You can catch all of the performances from a month ago that happened over at Clover Stadium. We had almost 1,200 people in the stadium. We had Magical Mystery Doors that performed, as well as 9 other local bands. It was a plethora of music, and every single musical performance was absolutely fantastic. We just released the 3rd video on YouTube of Trouble Junction, Grateful Dead tribute band. They performed like around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was just a very, very cool scene. So you got to check that out. As I mentioned before, open mic night is on Thursday this week over at Casa del Sol. You don't want to miss that. We're going to do a little bit of a Grateful Dead tribute. Tito and the folks at Electric Beef are going to be holding down the back line. And we'll have some tribute to the late, great Ozzy. Actually, my band is showing up. They're called BS Tribute. So hopefully we'll do some justice on a few songs, and it'll be a pretty cool time. And finally, let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. Rockland Fashion Week is coming up, I believe, on November 8th. One moment, please. Just bring this up. It's rocklandfashionweek.com. There we go. And it's here, it's basically, it's an all-inclusive fashion show. It's over at the Palisades Center. It'll be on November 8th. Now, here's the beautiful thing about it. It's like, and I don't know anything about fashion. Like, if you ever looked at me just walking around, I basically look like a poor Mike McCready from Pearl Jam. It's just walk around. It's like, hey, man, what's going on? That's basically it. But yeah, there's people that go to this thing that walk the runway that are absolutely fabulous. We might hang out there and just check out like the runway show and stuff. So you got to check it out. It's the Rockland Fashion Week 2025. It's going to be November 8th over at the Palisades Center. And you can get tickets at rocklandfashionweek.com. Tickets are just $39 a pop. We had an interview with Hope Wade from Hope Wade Fashion. She has a store down in Nyack. And hey, this is a fashionable person. So I want to try to like hang out with fashionable people so that like maybe one day, I could show up in a suit and a tie and everything like that. But for now, we'll just appreciate those that are able to just walk through life and look really, really awesome. And Hope Wade is one of those people. Looking forward to checking out the fashion show. And if you want to check out the podcast that we did with me and Mike, and we had her on the show last Wednesday, just go over, just do a Google search for Rockland News Podcast, and you can check out that episode on Apple and Spotify under Rockland News. It's available now. Okay, and finally, I'm doing another edition of No Names. So I actually have to apologize. I was on, I was reviewing our podcast the other day. We've been putting out a lot of episodes lately. I've just kind of been getting back to like the routine of making sure that something gets put out on a consistent basis almost every day. We got a small team. We have an editor and a few writers that provide stories at Rockland News. Originally we were doing 20, 30 stories. Now we're down to about 10 to 20 stories on a weekly basis. Now we're starting to ramp that up again. Our goal is at the end of this quarter, we're going to be at about 25 stories per week, 5 per day. So that's rolling along smoothly. The podcast that we're doing, the live stream that we're doing is kind of like a supplement to that. And it's a bit of an emotional catharsis too, because we get to like talk about the news that we're writing. I firmly believe that news organizations these days can't be in a bubble. They can't just write the news. They can't just share the news. They also have to talk the news. They have to live the news. They have to be aware of what's going on. They have to be, for lack of a better term, ensconced in the news. And one of those things has to do with making sure that you have the right tools and technology in order to accomplish this. Now, this is a little bit embarrassing for me to bring up, but I was going on the Apple podcast area for Rockland's News, and I came across a review. Now, it's not like a lot of people review our stuff. Right now, we get like about anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 listens on Facebook, and probably like a smattering on Apple and Spotify. That's cool. But somebody reviewed the podcast, and I'm going to say for the record, even before I read this, I agree. I actually agree with what this person is saying. So here we go. And no names, but this is what the person said. Terrible audio. Why even make a podcast? So, and this is what the person says. I love local news. Nothing is more important to me than the goings on of my community. But this is supposed to be a recast from the radio. As an audio engineer, this host sounds like he lives inside of a metal garbage can. Ouch. Like, seriously, podcasting setups are so inexpensive now. It's impossible to listen at all. I don't even understand how his producer sounds like she's in a $1 million studio, but he's recording in his car. Super yuck. So again, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I need to apologize for the audio quality of this podcast. As I mentioned several times, it's an ongoing effort, and we are looking to enhance the quality of the audio. I should note one of the problems, and we did get new audio equipment several months ago. We use Riverside as a podcasting platform, and we use Blue Yeti microphones with the noise canceling. It's called an air popper that goes in front, and I also got like a nice little fuzzy thing on top of the mic so that it creates better bass. What happened is we had two microphones in the same location, and we couldn't get it working so that they were running from separate audio feeds so that there was no feedback. I take responsibility for that. And it's kind of an embarrassing thing because, quite frankly, my first company is a web development company. And, and we built like 600 websites over the last 18 years. But this is a mistake that I'm going to tell you, the person that reviewed this. 1, you're right. 2, we're going to correct it. 3, I hope you'll give us another chance. Because we really do want to do a good quality podcast, live stream. And bottom line is we want to accurately report the news and in a way that's comfortable for the end user. So I want to end with that because, it's not all about us. It's about you guys that are listening in. And we do appreciate that you've been tuning in over these last several years. And we'll continue to enhance. Another good example is I'm looking at the video here, and it says Monday, October 27th. Oh, Madone. Okay. We'll work on our process, but hopefully the news in itself is accurate. Anyway, let's end on that. Thanks for tuning into Rockland's News, and let's just read off the sponsors. Okay, special thanks to Yabu Fence Company. Yabu! Dana Pest Control, located in Tompkins Cove, New York. Easy Temp, located in Hackensack, New Jersey. Kobe Sushi, with a new music lounge, opens May 31st. 202 Cannabis, first cannabis dispensary with a drive-through in Garnerville, New York. Susan Bova, Coldwell Banker Realty. Lauren Molino Muller, Howard Hanna Rand Realty. Whole Shot Bagels, located on Route 9W in Haverstraw. 99 Signs. Business without a sign is a sign of no business. The Workforce Development Board of Rockland County, rocklandworks.org. And then our friends over at Fiesta Acapulco, FZ Perfection, Clean Space Maintenance Management Company. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.